Good evening, everyone. I'm Iana Tanchanco, and I'm running to be your COA Chief of Staff. And I can really tell how we've advocated so much the key areas of the Council, such as nation building and excellence. But I want to focus on community building this time, because I feel that there's so much room for improvement and so much room for growth. And what I really want for the Council is to be a home and to feel like a home for the organizations and its members. And I'd like to start through the Central Board. So I propose to have really very in-depth and very personal individual consultations with them because I want to really understand them on a personal level and to be their friend. So if ever there are like conflicts and such, I am there for them to help them go through the conflicts and resolve them. And aside from helping them with their personal growth, I'm going to encourage them in a way that they understand really what their orgs are about and to understand their needs. So that come cluster updates, we know what to talk about in the meetings and we know how to address them as a council. And another point that I'd like to talk about this CB time, it's important that we find lightness in our meetings once in a while and really get to know each other as a council and as a family because we will be together for a whole year. And I'd like to keep the performance management system. It was established a few months ago, and I see the value of it, although I'd like to keep it much simpler and easier to follow for the next school year. And last, I'd also like to keep the training information seminars of the CB. It was very successful last year and I'd like to continue it, although I would like to focus on training more next year. For the core, I want to re-envision General Assemblies because hearing it isn't as exciting as it should be. And I feel like it's a very good avenue for establishing a community really in Goa, to have like short activities that are just enough to lighten the mood of the assemblies and to get people to know each other, especially because usually in general assemblies, it's not just the presidents but the ED officers who go as well, and we want to welcome them in the community also. And I'd like to propose what I call Goa calls. It's a way in which presidents and CB can input their ideas or suggestions or comments about Goa that they aren't really able to talk about during their own respective meetings. And I'm not trying to step in the chest's role. This is really for those times when you just really don't have time to talk to each other and sayang naman yung ideas if they're not heard. So this is an idea for that. And at the same time, it's also a way in which we can send in messages to each other like good luck or you can do it or good job, magaling mo, ganon. And I want to really have strong online presence as well. And this is a really simple idea, like what you said, but it's really effective. I really want to have birthday greetings for the presidents, have greetings for when their org anniversaries, and use the Twitter account not just to update people about what's happening in COA, but treat the account as if it were a friend to the organizations and to the members. And I'd also like to keep the occasional events such as the Record Treat or the COASM Starter Party because families celebrate occasions together and it would be a waste if we didn't continue that next year. For the next, I'm going to talk about the X teams and cluster core teams. I'd like to have a central database. They don't really know each other apart from who they know in their own core teams and departments. So with this, we're able to maximize and really efficiently build on the potential of these members by knowing what they do in the other core teams and maybe they can help each other out with their own projects. And with the next, so just like the CB, I'd like to have training information seminars as well because these are the people who might step in or step up during the next year and we'd like to train them beforehand. And if ever effective yung performance management system during first SEM, I'd like to have the same for them as well in the second SEM. And lastly, again, we want to include them in our family, so birthday greetings and bondings are really encouraged because it's not just about the presidents, it's not just about the officers, but the people working behind the council as well. Next, I'd like to talk about the collaboration. We don't really have a good context of how collaborations work really in Goa, and so I want to track the collaborations that are planned the collaborations that actually happen, and the post-evaluations of those collaborations. And for the collaborations that don't push through, I'd like to have a follow-up and really understand why they didn't happen. So we have a better context. And with that context, we can build to develop the collaborations with a better perspective. And next, I'd like to talk about the services as well. Part of our support for the organizations is to make sure that they're exposed and their services are exposed to the council. And like what I mentioned a while ago in terms of answering the needs of the organizations, this is a way in which we can do that, to really talk about it in the council and to make it known to the other organizations. And lastly, I want to propose also the alumni relations. It's going to be the 10th anniversary of MVP, and so I want to expand the COA community, not just to the current officers, but also to those who've gone through it, our predecessors. And it's a very good networking opportunity, not just for us, but for them as well, to see how our orgs are doing, and for us to see how life is out there, and we can find inspiration from them. And so with my plans, I really hope to strengthen the community in COA, and to take it a step further, through openness to the community, happiness with the people we work with, and with our own work in our respective organizations, awareness of the needs of the organizations, so that through networking and assistance, we can help them develop their core competencies and make them better organizations. Or in short, Ohana. Because really guys, COA is first and foremost a family, and I want to establish that next year. And if you look at the COA Constitution, it states that we need to protect the general welfare of all duly accredited organizations and student members. Stress on general welfare and student members. And I really want to be that person to help establish that. As Chief of Staff, I want to be like the mother figure that makes sure that really, guys, COA is really a family. And if people are happy working in it, then the orgs will flourish and the council will flourish. And it's really all about the people. And if you allow me to be your Chief of Staff, we can make a home out of COA. Thank you.